So this is my experiences with female stalkers and gang stalkers. And I think women are at a point right now, generally, where they're beginning to realize that men are not necessarily trusting them anymore. And it wasn't until I was in my mid 20s where this kind of stuff, specifically with women, started to happen. Okay, it wasn't until I was in my mid 20s where women started to really notice me. They really started to make me feel like I wasn't invisible anymore, because I was invisible for most of my life. And a lot of that was my own decisions. I was making poor health decisions. I was somebody that was out of shape. I wasn't making proper financial decisions. I wasn't making proper life decisions. And I really just wanted to give up for most of my late teens and early 20s. I didn't see the point in a lot of it, and yet I continued on because I didn't really want to die either. Like I didn't really want to live, but I didn't want to die. And so I was pretty much invisible for most of my life from these women, and it wasn't until my mid-20s where things started to really shift. And that was when I had my first experiences with gang stalking as well, was my early 20s to mid 20s. But first, with the female stalker, this was a woman I met at the gym, and we talked. She had made it very clear that she was sexually interested in me. And when I made certain moves to continue forward and proceed with the relationship to see where things would go, she told me that she was dating somebody. And I thought, okay, well, then we're done here. And the way that I vet women, I was like, well, if she's dating, I don't even want to come back to her. I don't even want her to come back. I'm done. And so I pretty much just threw it away. I just was like, all right, moving on. About 2 weeks later or so after that, she started putting herself in my vicinity very much so heavily at the gym. And she started showing up the times that I was showing up, and she started leaving at the same time I was leaving. I switched my schedule a little bit, and she switched her schedule. And I was like, okay, this is kind of strange. Then one day, and there's a little bit more to the story. I'm just giving you guys the rough draft, okay? But after this, what I did was I started to notice that there was a pattern of behavior. When she showed up in her car, and I was there at 5 in the morning, okay? I was there at 5 in the morning usually. And this was just a couple years ago. And actually, it was even less than that, a little bit, but still. After that, I began to notice that when I showed up, she showed up, and it wasn't a coincidence anymore. It wasn't a coincidence. And so I tried to talk to her again, because she would be staring at me full on the whole time at the gym. And when I approached her after that, and I said, look, what? I'm flattered that you can't stop staring, but it's starting to make me uncomfortable. That was a mistake, by the way. Don't ever tell somebody that is going to stalk you that you're uncomfortable with them doing that, because guess what they're going to do? they're going to do that even more so. I was just trying to be authentic and real, because I thought she was dating somebody. And she completely tried to gaslight me and was like, oh, no, I just zone out sometimes. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I know what's going on here. And I think I made myself pretty clear that we're not compatible anymore. Because at that point, I had told her as well that I don't think we're romantically compatible. And it's like she went on this obsessive route to not stop until I gave her the attention that she felt like she deserved. This woman was nuts. Okay, this woman was absolutely crazy. For the next like month after that, every time I would go to the gym, I got this sick feeling in my stomach that somebody's like watching me. And I moved to different parts of the gym. Like, I was going at different times and I was working out in different parts of the gym, because the gym that I go to has a lot of space. So you can go pretty much anywhere. If somebody's bothering you, you can just move. And there's still going to be relatively similar equipment, like upstairs, downstairs, in the back, etc. So I continued that, and I went that, and I still felt like somebody was watching me, and I just had this sick gut feeling in my stomach that somebody was still watching me. And I would look around, and in the mirror, I would see her just creepily staring at me. But she never tried to say anything, and she would always try to lie. And I actually don't even think she was dating somebody. I don't even know if she was playing a game or what. Because usually when a woman says like, oh, I'm dating somebody, that's usually just a polite way to say no thanks. But this lady was just like, my head was scrambled whenever I was in her presence. It was like literally chaos itself was present with me. And I just was so bombarded and so confused. And so then other weird things started to happen. About another week or so goes by, and I switch up my schedule completely at the gym. Like, I am, my routine now is no routine, okay? All of a sudden, I start to see this woman at the coffee shop that I go to. I start to see this woman at the store that I go to, because I usually go to the store at a certain time, and I usually went to the coffee shop at a certain time. And so I had to switch up that schedule too. I actually even just stopped going to the coffee shop altogether, because I was just, I was done. I was done with whatever it was, and I had to move coffee shops, and it was just so weird. I would see her out at the store that I would go to. I've never seen this woman before at the store that I go to, ever. And it was only when I completely switched up my whole schedule that's when I saw her. And then what? Well, one day I switch up my whole schedule, right? I switch up everything now with my routine. I go out one day for my walk. The only thing that I kept in my routine was my daily walk at like 6 o'clock at night, because I usually like to go on a walk at that point. And if I'm not doing a consultation or anything like that at that time. And so I go out on my walk, and I literally see her car sitting outside my house. Yo, tell me that woman was not stalking me. Everything seemed a little kind of normal up until like a month or two in to whatever this all was. And I was like, okay, she is absolutely psycho. Because even if she was dating somebody at the time, well, now, like, the way that she was talking to me and the way that she was trying to flirt with me and all that, well, it goes to show she's a cheater, so I don't even want to be involved with that anyway. And we don't even know each other. Like, we really don't even know each other. So why would she try to do all these things? Okay, it was just a very bizarre experience. So I literally had to change everything about my life just to get away from this woman. And I've had women in the past where it's like, if you can't get rid of them, usually it means that like they like you, obviously. But sooner or later, a good woman, that even if she likes you, she'll get the hint that like you're not really into her like that, and she'll move on. And that's fine. That's great. Like, you don't want to hurt feelings, but at the same time, you don't want to lead people on either. So anyway, I haven't seen her much at all since this time, since I switched up everything up. And even if I do happen to see her at the gym, which I do every once in a while, I do, like maybe once or twice a month, I just switched I just switched course. I just switched course altogether. And it's not like I have to like switch up exactly what I'm doing, but because I'm still going to live my life. But the thing is like, I didn't have enough evidence to really go through with anything. And as soon as I started to film things, as soon as I started to document things, it was like the spiritual warfare ceased to be. It was like the spirit, the monitoring spirit that she was and that she had, knew that I was starting to collect data. And so it stopped altogether. And so I still document things, but I'm not necessarily going to like, unless things go through a certain point, that's where I'll take more action. But this just goes to show that even men can get stalked. I didn't ever think that men could get stalked. I never thought about that. Because you always hear like, oh, it's the creepy guy. It's the creepy guy that are stalking women. No. Women can be just as creepy, if not creepier. Okay? And so you have to really break that tie and just, whatever kind of monitoring spirit is trying to monitor you, recognize that this is a spiritual thing. This is a spiritual thing that you're going through. Now, as far as the gang stalking is concerned, I mean, gang stalking can be smear campaigns from the narcissist. Gang stalking can be whatever you want to call gang stalking. What the definition necessarily is that it's when a group of people conspire to destroy either the reputation or try to make the person feel like they're crazy or whatnot, etc. I had the same thing happen with my family. My family tried to do a smear campaign against me in gang stalking, and they literally tried to destroy my reputation so I couldn't get a job. It was the weirdest thing. It was the craziest thing, and this is one of the reasons why I don't really talk to my family much anymore. But it's because they literally told me, and I have the receipts for this. They told me, like, when you get your head on straight, then we'll be able to help you out. It's like, my head has been on straight. Like, what? And it just complete gaslighting, okay? And this has happened throughout most of my life, but it wasn't until I was about my early 20s when the gang stalking really started to pick up. And then you see gang stalking in the job, in the workplace. You see gang stalking like at the gym, or you see gang stalking at your college or at your school or whatever. Like, whenever there's two or more people trying to conspire to make you feel nuts, even though you know, like, no, I'm not crazy, like, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, I'm not stupid here, and I'm not going to be gaslit into confusion, because my heart is with the Most High, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that I stay in the favor of the Most High. That's the kind of mindset you need to have to get through this kind of stuff like this, okay? So be mindful of this kind of gang stalking activity. Be mindful of the stalking activity. You know, even my experience wasn't as severe as it could have been, but it was pretty freaking weird, okay? It was pretty freaking bizarre. And this is going to happen the more that you level up. Not necessarily the stalking or the gang stalking necessarily, but the more you level up, obviously there are going to be new obstacles and new things to overcome. Everybody knows the saying, new levels, new devils. This is it, okay? This is exactly what we're talking about here. So with that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful. And until next time, peace be with you.